Incredible win for Australia with 13 balls to spare, 4 wickets in hand. They managed to get to 359. Now, just let that sink in for just a second. This Australian team, which till a few weeks ago was down on confidence, they were coming to India. India was confident, saying, talks of a whitewash, saying that we're a much stronger team. But they've just grown in confidence from the T20s, and look where it has landed them today. 358 is what India scored after winning the toss and choosing to bat first. Big century by Shikhar Dhawan, and of course that opening partnership with Rohit yielding 193 runs. But for Australia, it was Handscomb and Khwaja who had a partnership after 2 early wickets fell, consolidated with that partnership, and then Ashton Turner and Alex Carey using that consolidated platform to convert that into a win. And Ashton Turner, boy, you got to say that he's your player of the match. One of the best performances you would have seen in recent time. Gets 84 runs at almost a 200 strike rate. Well, I'm Gaurav Kapur here on Cricbuzz Live. I have Ajay, Jadeja and Zaheer Khan here with me. You got to applaud that effort by Ashton Turner. 84 at 200 strike rate. Guy's got I think 1 game behind him or something, right?
Well, he's just stunned everyone.
Yeah.
It was brilliant innings and something which we spoke about in the mid innings as well, that if around 35, 37 over mark, if they have the platform from and wickets in hand, this game might get tricky if dew is a factor.
Yeah.
So dew was a factor and the platform was in a way set, even though Maxwell got out early. But Ashton Turner, I think, you'd just talk about it saying that, where was this batsman for Australia for a long time?
Yeah.
He's been around, but he has not been getting the opportunities. I think this knock has come at a very crucial time.
I think this is his second ODI game. That's it.
Yeah.
This is the second. He made his debut recently, and this is his second game. He made his debut in Hyderabad, then didn't play the game after that, and the 2 games, and now he's played this. Comes into a high pressure situation, Ajay. For him to pull something like this off, I think that's why I'm harping on it so much. A, the innings is amazing. B, the pressure, the situation, and the fact that it's his second game.
Look, I mean, I've got to accept it. I didn't even count him in. I mean, because he hasn't played enough, hadn't seen. But the fear at 35 overs that I was looking at is maybe Maxwell would be able to get closer to this game, because we're talking of 350 plus score.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a great start. First couple of wickets, even in that position, and then this man comes in and just turns it around. And what's amazing to see, it's not, he's played 1 shot. Yes, he did get outside the off stump and picked one Bumrah delivery for a 6. But everything else, for spinners, it was all down the ground, and then he got after Bhuvneshwar Kumar in that over. So it's not just 1 shot. It is very difficult, when you have certain batsmen who get after you and either they swing it this way or they play reverse sweep or something. Then it's, you can say, okay, why didn't the bowlers try something else? Why didn't India try something else? But in this case, he's played all around the park.
And clean, conventional hitting.
And I'm surprised that he only went for 50 because IPL's coming up. And kudos to Rajasthan Royals.
Who spotted the standard.
Who spotted him. And I don't think many people have spotted. I certainly have to put my hand up. I haven't seen enough of him. But what you've seen today is definitely something special. And with a lot of players who do things like this, you think that, it may be one-off. I can assure you, watching what I've watched today, that this man will make a big impact, not just in this game he's made, but I think going forward, this is a man to watch.
Yeah, I mean, this, we said in the mid-show that India had never lost a match after putting more than 350, always defended it. So for them to get there, I think, Zach, to your point, you had said that after the 35th over, that if they have 8 to 10 if you need per over and if you got wickets in hand, they lost Maxwell at the time, right? This guy comes in, 130, about 14 odd overs that are required, him, Alex Carey batting.
Yeah.
It's just 2 relatively inexperienced players to do what they've done against a very accomplished Indian bowling attack.
If you have to really analyze the game, I think the first box was ticked nicely when India took those 2 early wickets.
Yeah.
That had set a platform for Indian bowling to put pressure on this Australian batting lineup. But after that, about 30 overs, the wicket has not fallen.
Yeah.
So that is something which created a platform for the guys like Maxwell or Ashton Turner to come and start playing those kind of shots.
Can I just intercept you there? Is it because that India was trying to, Ajay pointed out that India was trying to, you were pointing out that the fifth bowler run it through really quickly, and that gave them the option to just sort of milk it for
That
sixes and
usually
over.
is a natural tendency, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you know that you've scored 358, at some stage you just always thinking about that. We have enough runs on board. Let me just get my fifth bowler out, and then the match is going to go till the end. Eventually, we'll lose some. Eventually, they will lose some wickets, and we'll have some kind of situation, which we can put pressure on the net and new batsman coming in. Unfortunately, today that wicket
Because that's why,
not
that's how Khwaja and Handscomb was
because
so impressive.
that effect was nullified, isn't it?
Yeah.
So those 2 wickets which was taken early, after that, if you see, they're still going at around 5 runs per over, isn't it?
They've also almost got a 193 partnership. Huh? Almost. Close enough.
You're watching the numbers very closely.
I'm watching these numbers. My prediction numbers I'm watching very closely. But that partnership, I mean, at the time, Ajay, that comes in, that's gold. Obviously, we'll talk a lot about Ashton Turner because far more fireworks, there's far more showmanship, and of course, the 200 strike rate innings you'll always talk about. But let's not underestimate this because at the time that they did it, 192 is impressive anyway, but the time and the target they were chasing makes this even more solid.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it is what has happened at the end is thanks to that partnership that was built. But I would just add to what Zach said, and I totally agree with that. That it is a tendency that you do that, and I don't know stats.
The fifth bowler, you say?
Yeah, the fifth bowler. I think Chahal came on to bowl after 22nd over or something. He hadn't even come into the game. So that tendency, I think, it's also a pattern that we are seeing because we saw exactly the same thing happen in that 2020 over game because 190 in that game was pretty similar. So if you have this fear that you're trying to get in, as an opposition, when you're 2 down, what are you looking for? You're looking for keeping the innings together. There's no pressure from the opposition to get you out because those 2 bowlers. And I think the other big thing that has happened is people have figured out the great
Kedar
Jadhav because he's
Lattu.
So that 3-4 overs from there, Vijay Shankar is bowled that over, and that allowed that partnership to build. And once you start playing Kuldeep Yadav or Chahal, when you're batting at 2, 5, 10 versus when you're batting at 40, 50, 60, it becomes relatively easier.
Yeah.
So, and I will agree with him because I think nobody thought, I think neither did Virat think, neither did probably the team think, that they would get this close. Yeah. And they were waiting for Australians to make a mistake, including us who've been watching for last couple of years. This team has kept making mistakes. So as a captain, as a team also, you think that you'll get back into the game. There'll be something done by the Australian batsmen. They will throw the wicket away. Nothing of that happened.
Except Maxwell, you'd say. Maxwell, even you were, because one of you pointed out when we were watching the game that there is due, this ball is, you don't need to reverse sweep at that time. Just stand and hit it to the shorter boundary, which is behind the bowler.
Well, Ashton Turner proved that, isn't it?
Yeah.
He actually was just keeping it simple. He was hitting through the lines, and he made use of his height very well. So if you look at that one particular shot which he hit for 6 off Chahal, that's Chahal's strength in that scenario when he bowls those lines which is close to the wide line, the ball turning away from that. If as a batsman, if you are able to put that ball for a 6, then Chahal is going to run out of options.
Yeah.
And Dew also was not helping the cause. But looking at that as well, there's one more point which was very vital in today's game: under pressure, fielding, backing your bowlers.
Yeah,
that's something which I'm sure the team will be disappointed with.
How much of a difference, because you've played in Mohali, how much of a difference do the low lights, because Mohali has lower light towers, right, because of the airport being nearby, so they have, I think, 16 or something as opposed to the conventional 4, so the angle is a little different. Fielding second, how much of a difference does that make? Not much?
Very little. I think the only odd ball when it's hit flat and coming at you, at times you lose the ball, but the high balls are not an issue.
For those of us who've not played under lights like that, you always play under 4, so you're used to a light source and an angle perhaps. With these in Mohali, even does it make a difference?
No, so even with
your
that,
eyes adjusting?
Even with the four light towers, there's always that risk of you losing the ball.
No, I'm saying is the lighting, does it seem any different for your eyes to adjust? Because you get used to something. Like I'm used to the lights here. If tomorrow, if you suddenly lit them like 2 feet below, maybe it would take some time for my eyes to adjust or you might trigger actions would.
So if you put the camera next to the light, you'll find it difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
So the camera is at your eye line and it helps you.
Yeah.
So in a similar fashion there as well, So if you have 4 towers, the high balls at times get lost. And when you have the lights how you have in Mohali, which is relatively lower and there is series of lights, you can still lose the ball if it's hit flat at you in your eye line.
And traditionally, there's almost always dew here. So I think our team management has got the dew reading wrong twice.
Someone got it right.
Once in Ranchi.
Someone got it right 2 days back.
You got it right 2 days.
No.
Oh, you got it
Mr.
right 2 days
Jadeja
back.
here.
That's right, you did. You're the Mountain Dew boy.
Yes, it came down to the mountain, didn't it? No, it because Mohali we've seen over the years, like lights you are talking, the outfield that we are looking at. These are not new things. I mean, if you go to a new ground where there is, not been enough cricket, maybe you don't know. But I mean, Mohali was one. First we played was here in '92 or something. You're talking of 30 years. Cricket's been happening there.
Yeah.
Every evening there is dew. And every game that has happened in Mohali, dew's played a major role.
And that's why chasing teams historically have won a majority of the matches here.
So I was a little surprised. But I think, because Virat made that call last time in Ranchi and the dew didn't come down.
Yeah.
And actually you can't control it. But I'm saying you've got to look at these things. And 2 days ago when we were talking that he had talked about dew coming in Ranchi and it didn't turn up there. So I said, now what's going to happen is when you go there, you're going to say, oh, we're not going to worry about the dew. It doesn't mean when you take a decision, if it goes wrong, it is wrong. You make a decision taking everything into account. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. It doesn't mean next time you change your decision.
Yeah.
That is the sad part. Nobody can tell you when the dew is going to come. Nobody can tell you whether Maxwell is going to play this way or that way, or Turner is going to turn up like this. But as a team, as cricket teams or captains or, all the support staff that you have, the information that already exists cannot be ignored.
Yeah, true. Another big dilemma now for Australia is Stoinis, of course, sitting this match out because thumb. Angutha dikha diya captain ko. I'm not playing. So his thumb gets okay. In the next game, who sits out?
Can I say something?
Yes, I like how you're such a good boy. Raising
No,
your hand.
no, I'm not answering
Yes, you
that
can.
question. I'm putting another question. These problems only come when you win games.
Yeah, of course. So that's a good thing.
So suddenly,
as I said, happy problem.
Suddenly, these questions were around with the Indian cricket for the last couple of years. Now it's with Australia.
Yeah.
That how will Stoinis get into the side?
And then
Whereas
they still have
Australia was
Warner. They
always
still have
looking,
Warner and
who
Smith,
else?
by the way. They still have Warner and Smith who are due to come back. I've got news that they're not going to be playing the Pakistan one days because they qualified for 2. Their ban would be getting over with 2 of the 1 days still left. But Cricket Australia has decided they're not playing those. They're not joining the team for that. And they will play the IPL and then, I guess the World Cup. Straight
Maybe.
in. But they're good enough players. They're good enough players too.
Where do you bring them in?
Exactly, right? I'm saying that's far away. Where do you bring Stoinis into the next game? You can't drop Handscomb. You can't drop Ashton Turner. So
Barrendorf.
to bat.
He comes in for Barrendorf.
But okay,
That's one spot. Or
interesting.
carry.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
Carry,
say
which means then you give Handscomb the bowling.
No.
wicket keeper.
Wicket-keeping.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
You've been spending too much time with me.
Same thing's happening, right?
Crystal ball is hazy.
Crystal ball's gone easy. Working Sundays, man.
Yeah.
They tend to get me. Cockeyed like the Hawkeye. Today, that did, by the way, DRS did its bit today as well, didn't it? Gives us talking points always. But again, we won't get into that because that conversation never ends. But we will talk a little about Rishabh Pant's wicket keeping and the fact of how Dhoni. Now, if you consider, forget Dhoni's batting, just him running the play, his fielding positions, his call for which one to review, and of course his lightning stumpings, catching the line, not giving byes. There's suddenly today you're seeing a new guy do it. 4th ODI, first time he's keeping wickets in a one-day international. So not fair to compare them, obviously, but I'm just using that as a benchmark to tell people how much Dhoni is an asset before he even faces the first ball.
And that's how you got to value players as well sometimes.
Yeah.
I probably have harped on it for many years, couple of years last couple of years everybody's always felt, oh, why Dhoni, he should go, he should do this. Looking at the numbers, strike rate, everybody comes up with these, he's played so many balls, so many runs. it's a role that he can play. He plays different roles which you can't expect others to play. But all these intangibles that you've talked about, that is how also you got to look at players. And I think he's invaluable. I've said it enough times. I think I don't need to say it. The pictures of
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
and you're never going to fill those shoes.
Yeah.
It's like you've never been able to fill Kapil Dev's shoes.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to fill, Mahendra Singh Dhoni's shoes. These are players that, once in a lifetime, and you're not going to find players. Yes, we'd be blessed if somebody can come and do something better, and there will be a better player. I think every generation, the next generation players are better than the players from the past. There's no doubt.
And you can't expect someone to just come in and start performing exactly at the level where
you
MS
can't,
Dhoni is
obviously.
at,
Yeah.
So you have to give opportunities, and you have to see who is putting the hand up, how with experience a player is evolving. So I think it's Rishabh Pant's job now to make sure that he puts in enough work to get there.
Nothing against him. I mean, we can't judge him.
His batting was pretty good.
You can't judge him by Dhoni standards in the field, of course. And he himself will be, and I'm sure he'll be harsh on himself for the stumping to miss down leg side, because I think that was Ashton Turner at a time when he was like 30 or 40 runs or something.
Yeah, I mean, when we always look back, there were opportunities, and that is one big opportunity.
Yeah.
If that had missed out. But at 193 for one, you said that India will be?
I said 193 opening run partnership.
And
yes.
I wanted Rishabh Pant to come in there. Now at the end of the game, you see, if you took it easy, maybe a few more runs here and there.
You never know, huh?
So
because he got 36 of 24.
So that is what I mean. When you play a game, no matter what stage you are at, you need to keep pushing it harder. If you've got wickets in hand, if you don't have wickets in hand, yes, you send in somebody who holds the innings together. There is no rocket science who plays faster. But if you get stuck on these numbers, number 3, number 4, number 6, number 8, then you will play number games.
Yeah.
Your team doesn't move forward. We are still, at the end of 1 year, we are back to number 4. And the team is, moved back.
No, I can't do that again. No, not number 4 again. But Virat Kohli has said in the post-match press conference that the last 2 games for us have been eye-openers. And that's worrying. That for me is worrying. There's a few worrying signs. The captain is saying that. I'm stressed.
You got to take the learnings from the game. I mean,
Yeah.
that process never stops.
Please calm me down, Zach.
So if
Please
you win matches, you got to have points which you take home.
Yeah.
If you lose matches, you got to have those points which you take home and learn from them. So that's something that is ongoing process. That process is never going to stop. If you have to analyze today's game, I think you have if you score 358, it doesn't matter what factor it is. Whether it's due, whatever it is. 9 out of 10 times you got to win those games. So you have to find the answers now. You got to be critical enough of yourself that where did you go wrong? Yeah. And I think the start of the innings was also the box ticked. So that's something which you'll say, okay, we took the first 2 wickets, then what? So then what can we do differently in scenarios like this? Because the game got evened out with that 192 run partnership, isn't it?
Correct, yes.
So
absolutely.
That basically nullified the effect of your 358, and then it was individual brilliance of Ashton Turner. That might not happen all the games, but main impact was Ashton Turner.
Yep.
So that something can happen. So you got to stay ahead of the game. So you got to find those answers in the overs from 10 till 35, 40 overs. What you could have done differently,
and grab your chances,
because the platform was set. You had 2 wickets. Your seamers had done the job. 10 overs, you had 2 wickets. You had created a scenario. From there, the onus is on the bowlers who will be coming there and the think tank of the team to make sure that the next box is ticked. Because the biggest learning is if you don't stay in the game, if you let the game drift from there, this game changes quickly. And then it's very hard for any team to come back in the match. So that's something the process which goes on.
Zach, one question, because from Virat Kohli's I've been thinking. Normally we've heard over the years that we've had bad games and this is one-off game. I'm looking at it that it doesn't mean our team's not good enough anymore. These are good bowlers. But normally we've heard this. It was just one-off game and we should carry on. And I think that is a better thought process than the question that we've just heard is Virat Kohli saying that it's an eye-opener. Because is there anything new that you saw today that has opened up Virat Kohli's eye? Because I don't see that. There's nothing different that's happened. Like he said, Ashton Turner has played a fabulous innings. But we haven't played anything differently from how we've been
I think
playing.
you just, I have
No,
an answer for that.
I
You
would,
need a bowling all-rounder at number 7.
Not a pure bowler.
No,
A
I
bowling
think,
all-rounder. You
I
still
think the
need a...
eye opener in the sense that not every day things are going to go your way.
Yeah.
Not every day, if you have had that partnership, things are going to turn out the same way. You can't take things for granted. Is what he meant, I guess.
Okay.
Even from the last game to this game as well.
I think all he was saying is that, I think he may have been asked a question saying, hey, today you didn't get too much batting, and in the next game he said, eye-opener.
Nah.
Captain, मैं पहले batting कर.
Yeah,
I'll bat
but
first
that,
batting.
that is how he should see. He should stick to what he believes in. That
Yeah.
is why he's the captain.
3. That's a 3.
Because it's too close to
Yeah.
the World Cup or to the great event that we've been working on last 3 years.
True.
If you had a belief in last 3 years, if you're going to change now, that I think would probably put more doubts in players' minds than stick to what you believe in.
Yeah. Ashton Turner, of course, after the game said that I'm at a loss for words. Trust me, buddy, you're not the only one. You're not alone there. We're all at a loss for words at what Ashton Turner has done. He did say one more very interesting thing, which he said, I did not nick that one. There was a little bit, on the with Chahal, that where it was the bottom edge, where Rishabh Pant reviewed that decision. It was a stumping call, umpire's decision, and it was Ashton Turner, it was Rishabh Pant who said there was a nick. And there was something weird happening on the snickometer, but you could see clearly on the visuals that there was a little space.
Who asked that question to Ashton Turner? Who was doing the...
I think he just said it himself.
No, but there must be somebody interviewing.
I don't know.
Because I'm wondering, because we all saw it.
Yeah.
It went to the third umpire. They used all the technology that is available, and he was given not out. So he didn't nick it.
No. It was the. I think it was just the. I think it was Virat Kohli and the players who did not believe it. Who say, "Oh, we see the snake." Because they show it on the on the ground now, right? And it was everybody in the ground. Those 30,000 people who were like, "No, they had given it out," but there's no 30,000 third umpires. There's only one. And that one said, it's not out. Actually, we all sort of saw it as not out on the screen when you sort of zoomed it in a little bit. But anyway, any changes for India in the next game? Well, the 5th and final ODI makes it super interesting because it is now a decider. There is, of course, no MS Dhoni there. MS Dhoni has been rested for the next 2 games. So and they sort of popped that decision. But he said something very interesting. I don't know which one of you said it, but Ranchi was probably his last game, a last one-day game on home soil.
Yeah, because he started in Ranchi.
Yeah.
He comes from Ranchi. He's had a great journey. He's, been around the world, dominated, comes back home, changes the hat and moves on.
You know something? You can never sort of pick what MS Dhoni is thinking, right? You never can, because he'll just pop things up on you. But the fact that he has played that game in Ranchi and rested for the next 2, I think that he will retire after the World Cup.
And what I saw was the reaction.
Why are you going
He's
so
not
far
gonna,
ahead?
no, I'm just saying. See, everybody. I'm just trying to
When
get
is
the
the
job
next
as a
game in
Dhoni
Ranchi?
fan.
No,
Not
let me just
Ranchi.
ask
Next
you-
game in India. He's decided that his last one-day game in India will be at his home. So he's not going to play at home again.
He said it.
No, this is my. As a
You
Dhoni
are-
fan, I'm trying to
Oh.
guess.
Because
I'm trying to
this is
decode
crystal
his
ball which
thinking.
is
Crystal
talking
ball.
to you.
This is analytical
Okay.
thinking. This is my analytical thinking
Yeah.
that I learned from the days in
Tell
the CIA.
Abhideep to cut this clip of you.
Yeah,
The
keep
crystal
it.
ball clip.
That's right. When he retires. So
Did you see the reaction also at the end?
Yeah.
Because with Mahendra Singh Dhoni, we've seen 300 games plus.
yeah.
And when he gets out, there's no reaction. That day was the first time I saw a reaction on his face.
Oh, what was that?
He got out and he was there as if, oh. So you get a few. He's a human at the end.
See, we are true
You're connected.
fans. He's your friend, right? So you don't read
Two
too much
crystal
into it.
balls
Yeah.
are connecting.
No,
Yeah.
because we are from outside. We
We are outside. See, you've played so much with him.
Yeah.
For you, he's, that saying, Ghar ki murgi dal barabar, right? For you, he's dal. For us, he's still tandoori chicken.
Yes.
There is still that smell, Punjabi dhaba smell. So we're still fascinated by it. So that's our call. What's the date today? The 10th of March, at the end of the 4th ODI between India and Australia. Ajay and me have called that Ranchi was MS Dhoni's last game on Indian soil. It's last game for India, not the IPL, of course. He's playing the IPL, but his last international game on home soil. He signed it off in Ranchi. All right, that's dusted. Put it in the server, lock it up, put it behind a firewall, and we're done. All right, here's the India squad now. We've got one game to play, everything to play for because it's 2-all on the series now. And India really needs to win it because you can't have Australia visiting just before the World Cup, lose 2-0 in the T20 and then lose 3-2 in the ODIs because that's not, no, I can't take that. I can't. You've got to make these boys win. What do they have to do?
No, they should win and they will win and we hope they will win. But I don't think it'll make a difference to the World Cup. Don't forget, what date did you say today is?
10th of March.
And what date is the World Cup?
1st of June.
How many games between that they're going to play? And they're going to be playing for different teams, different conditions. The mind deletes these things. Like what you put in that firewall doesn't stay. It's not that only World Cup is in that mind.
Yeah.
All these players will go and play for different teams and they'll come out fresh at the end of IPL. And what happens then will really impact the World Cup. But yes, I agree with you. We must win this one.
Yeah, we must. But any changes? Do you see any changes? No.
They've made plenty of changes this game.
They've exhausted all the
Four,
changes.
but one is left now. It's a 5-match series. Ek to hoga.
So what that one change can be? I'm not able to see it through right now, that one change.
No, Virat Kohli will bat at 3.
Okay. That's within the playing 11. Is there going to be any change in the playing 11?
There might be because the conditions will change. Look, you go to Delhi, it's a smaller ground.
Yeah.
It's a much lower scoring. It's a smaller ground, but the wicket's not the same. Normally, you get these sluggish wicket there. Things don't move. So maybe another spinner all-rounder instead of a fast bowling all-rounder, or it's too early.
Jadeja in for you? Is that
Jadeja
it?
in for?
But if I say too much about Ravindra, then everybody starts talking about conflict of interest. You keep talking about him because he is your namesake and he comes from the same city and you are getting ready for elections. But it's not for that.
You're getting ready for elections?
Yeah, of course.
What all is being declared today? MS Dhoni's retirement, Ajay Jadeja's political debut. What's going on today?
No, I am never politically correct, so that you can rule that out.
Ticket.
Ticket.
चलना है ना, चलो शादी में जाना है.
Ticket. All right. So, of course, we will know what the 11 is after the toss. We'll have to wait for the captain to tell us because you won't be able to see the changes on the field because of the pollution in Delhi, so you can't really see clearly. So we'll have to trust the captain, what he tells us. The Australia squad, you probably look at it and you go, all right, probably unchanged. Don't know if Stoinis will be fit for the next one. But if he is, you probably play him in place of Sean Marsh and then that doesn't trouble your team's balance at all.
Or Carey.
Not Alex Carey, not after this performance.
That's how they started the series, isn't
But
it?
you don't. Can you drop Alex Carey after what he did today? That brilliant partnership with Ashton Turner in the end. That would be.
Or Loyan back? No.
The Lion
Other than
comes
that kind of wicket, you might use him because Australia, if they've made this change, looking at the kind of wicket they were playing.
So Lion would come in place of either
Behrendorff.
Behrendorff or Richardson, one of them.
No,
Behrendorff,
I think
more than
Richardson's
Richardson. Okay, so
probably
Behrendorff and Marcus.
That's the only one
if
I
he's
see.
fit, would probably come in place of Sean Marsh then.
If not, that the captain and coach can show him the angutha and say, better hai.
Take a lift back home.
Take a lift, we've won. See, teams move on. When teams are winning, you don't go back to players. It's only when teams lose that you start looking around and say, kaun hai. Like last 2 years, if you see, except for India, when they win also, we'll keep looking. But Australian side in the last 2 years has had many people play for them.
Yeah.
As soon as they won, they stuck to the team. They've started winning. On this tour, how many changes? One change in the last game, and this is a forced change, so I'm not counting this. And not many changes in the 2020 as well. So when you start winning, that's the combination that you need to keep.
Yeah.
Because it's not about each individual ticking their boxes, but as a team you're ticking the box. The whole idea of this whole structure is what? To tick those boxes so you finally get that biggest box ticked. Win a game. Yeah. When that is happening, then you can adjust with other things.
Okay, but let's see who has won our joy factor question of the day. Now the question was which Indian is captain in all the test matches that they played, and Mr. Ajay Jadeja will tell you because is some long relation of his apparently is what he told us before, or was it a decoy? The correct answer, obviously made debut as captain, Nawab of Pataudi Senior, who also played 3 test matches for England. And then, of course, how many matches did he play for India? How many did he captain in? Nawab of Pataudi Senior?
3.
Also 3?
if I'm not mistaken.
If you're not mistaken.
Not many.
Professor Joy has not sent us the number.
I think 1 or 2. I'm not sure, but I think 1 or 2.
Jack is correct. It is
3?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
1 plus 2.
Yes, samajh mein nahi
That's what
aaya.
I understand. I have admitted your answer and pronounced it the correct way.
Thank you.
So both have got it right. Nawab of Pataudi Senior. What was Nawab of Pataudi Senior's full name? I don't know why I'm asking. It's not like they can reply back to me. So they start talking back into their phones.
No, they'll send you a SMS.
Iftikhar Ali Khan Pataudi Saab.
And his son also captain in his first test match.
That's right. Tiger Pataudi. Amazing. Well, we're very impressed with ourselves, as you can see. And we're very impressed with the people who got the right answers in. And the winner, the first one to get the right answer into us is, drumroll, Jatin Khandelwal. So congratulations, Jatin Khandelwal. Well answered. It's not an easy one for sure. All right, well, I think that's the end of business, gentlemen. 2-all. We didn't think it would get here.
I think
It's going to
it's
be
the-
exciting finish now to the series.
Yeah.
Last one.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I think it's the beginning of the business on this tour.
Yeah.
Because for 2020 we thought, chalo ho gaya yaar, 2020 hai. 2-0 you thought, oh, this series is going to go, whitewash. But now this is business time.
Yeah.
This is like almost, it's a trial and a practice session for you. You're in the World Cup semi-final.
Well,
You got to win this one.
Yeah.
Or you have one game to win to qualify into the semi-final. I hope we don't get into that stage. Or it's the finals and you got to win this one. So if you play every game as final, then you don't get into troubles like this. But since we are there, let's make use of this.
well, I will tell you, in the last 11 white ball games India's played, won only 3. Just going to leave you with that bit of information. Of course, have to make it 4 out of 12 if you want to win this series. That's all we have time for. We're going to go now. Mr. Ajay Jadeja, Mr. Zaheer Khan, thank you very much. Looking very dapper. Looks like you guys are going to have a night out. I'm going to be checking Instagram to see where you're going to be. Of course, yours is Zaheer Khan, Zaheer_Khan.
Yeah.
Zaheer Khan something.
What are you checking?
For Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Zaheer_Khan.
Khan 34.
34. You are Traveler Man.
Always traveling.
Traveler Man.
Always traveling.
Check their Instagrams. I think they're going to be partying tonight. They're looking very, got some fresh clothes ironed over there. Mine is Gaurav Caps, but mine's going to be really dull because I'm just going to be sitting in a car, going home, probably be staring at my feet and then going to sleep. So that's me. What about you? Yeah, don't tell us now. Tell us on Wednesday when we see you next on Cricbuzz Live. That's all from us. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday. This is good night, or as they say in German, gute Nacht. It's true. Yeah, it is.